Hello and welcome to the Link Podcast. The Link Podcast is created to build community through conversation. We focus on stories of creatives, business owners, community leaders, and all-around interesting people from the community of Lincoln, Nebraska. We welcome you to come learn about your neighbors as we have conversations with them and discover their stories.
All right, guys, welcome to the Link Podcast. My name is Andy Morrison.
I'm Stephen Carlson.
And today we've got on the Stanczyks, which is a lovely couple that is living
and
a
Max,
totally...
don't forget Max.
Oh, yeah, don't forget Max. Lovely couple plus Max that lives a healthy plant-based life and are just like kind of promoting it from Lincoln, which is super interesting.
Yeah, they have eatmoverest.com, and they kind of surprisingly share about everything in their life, which is very bold to me, and I don't want to do that in mine, but it's really cool to watch and follow along on how they have built their brand and built what they do. And I think you'll really enjoy hearing about howler monkeys in Costa Rica all the way to the best vegan eats in Lincoln.
The Link Podcast, sponsored by Carlson Projects.
Sounds good. Well, thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for being on.
Thanks for having us.
We are on with Erin and Dusty.
Yep.
And Max is sleeping behind you.
Yep. I'm sure he won't be asleep the whole time, but we'll see.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he wakes up, that's all right too. Yeah. He can jump on the podcast.
Yep.
This be his first podcast then?
Was he on the last? Yeah, no, he was on the last.
He was on one. It was like a FaceTime one on the computer.
So he was on with us at home on the couch, but never quite like this. You guys have quite the setup. This is fun. So
we tried. We were like, how do we make it actually feel like a space where you want to sit in and hang out?
For sure.
Rather than just like a studio room where you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So,
one of our favorite podcasters, Rich Roll, I don't know if you guys have heard or know. He's a vegan triathlete, and we've been listening to him for years. And he has a recording studio. Now he started filming for YouTube as well, and it's in a
container.
Yeah, it's in a shipping container. But it's all decked out, and it's super cool. And so it makes for a really cool recording space. So,
yeah. Did he like cut like windows and stuff into
windows.
it?
He's got a little office in there, and like the whole wall is a chalkboard. That's and he's got cool art and stuff up.
One of my buddies is building an Airbnb container house.
Oh, nice!
Right now,
nice.
He's been
here in Lincoln.
In Lincoln, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Which location? I've seen.
It's near. It's not the one on North 27th. It's the one like, it's like just south of downtown.
Oh, nice.
Where they're kind of planning to develop down there.
Yeah.
I've driven by it.
But yeah, I'd like to have him on the podcast at some point. But,
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Everything with shipping containers is so cool. Like I was in El Paso like about less than a month ago, and there was a record store that was a shipping container.
Nice.
Two of them stacked on top of each other.
That makes sense for El Paso too.
Yeah.
It's like all you need is air conditioning.
Right.
I feel like trying to heat a shipping container would be
next
to impossible.
Like it's fall right now. Like high was 80 down there.
Yeah.
It sounds so good right now.
Yeah.
Just what we're in right now, but like what if it gets to like 110?
You're just like in a little hot box there.
Yeah.
Just paint it white and make sure it's super reflective.
Yeah.
But anyways, kind of give us, I guess I have a lot of questions, but like give us kind of the background of like, were you born and raised Lincoln? And then like, how did you transition from, I guess if you were born and raised, how did you transition to like starting your own health and wellness company? Like how did that transition?
Well, yes, we are both corn born, as they say.
Hey. What's the corn born?
Something like that.
So there's a weird hand signal.
Right,
now.
Yep. So we've been, living in Nebraska most of our lives. I lived in Iowa for a short time, but still a Nebraska native. And I guess starting out, I'll just go back to like breezing
Conception.
through. Yeah. breezing through things a little bit. My mom always raised my brother and I to be.
Oh, baby's coughing.
super active, super healthy in sports. My mom always made us healthy food, healthy smoothies, all of that stuff. Then getting into college, all of a sudden I was kind of a fish out of water because I hadn't paid any attention whatsoever to how to even boil a pot of water or anything like that. So all of a sudden I just kind of, was a free-for-all, staying out, partying all night, just running through the whole thing that everybody does in college.
And that's how we bumped into each other.
That's how we bumped into each other towards the end of college.
Yeah.
And do you think that was like was it intentional, or was it like I'm just doing what everybody else is doing?
Yeah.
Or like how did that kind of happen? I might be digging in too deep.
No,
so
yeah.
I like to understand like how things.
For sure.
I think for
develop.
me, I was just super type A in school. And I just tried so hard. I had zero social life whatsoever. And I experienced burnout. I got to college and I was like, I'm over it. I can't do the studying thing anymore. I've just been working so hard with, such an imbalance that I went the complete opposite extreme.
Yeah. You were like number 1 or 2 in your class too. I know you wouldn't say that about yourself, but like you were a super hard worker in high school.
Yeah.
But
I saw everybody else having fun and I'm like, okay, this has got to change.
What have I been missing out on the whole time? Yeah.
And I wasn't a great student. I probably could have been, but I was just, I don't know, I had moved around. So I'm also from Lincoln, moved around to a couple different high schools, played sports at a couple different high schools, tried out Southwest the first year it was open. Me and a buddy went there and didn't really like it. So I ended up going back and graduating from Southeast. And I thought it was way more fun to party than study too. But I couldn't really get away with it. My mom was at the door every Friday, Saturday night, like greeting me, and I was like, man, I can never go out and like actually have fun. So I was like the DD, I was like the sober kid at all the parties, which was probably a good thing. I'm actually glad about it now. But so yeah, when college hit, it was a free for all. It was, party hard, and that's what I think we both kind of did. And it's weird when you see us now. People are like, "Oh my gosh, I can't imagine you guys being drunk and partying." But man, it was pizza and beer for us for a couple of years at least.
Yeah,
so
for sure. And this is a little funny thing that we've never mentioned on a podcast, maybe not even on our YouTube video, but we knew each other in high school.
Yeah.
We ran around with the same groups of friends, and funnily enough, my doubles partner in tennis was his girlfriend at the time. So
that is funny.
I hung out with her all the time, and he would cruise us around in his convertible Mustang.
Oh,
Me in the back seat, just
bumping rap music.
Had the hugest crush on him ever since then, and I was just like, gosh, she's the luckiest girl in the world. But someday, maybe I'll get a little cuter or a little bit more outgoing. We'll find out. But somehow I'm gonna get this guy.
Right.
So the Mustang did it.
It was the Mustang for sure. We would have that thing so.
Oh, it was the rap music.
It was the rap music.
The funny thing is, he had a sub in the back of his car.
I had like 3 subs.
He was
in the
wanting
back.
to upgrade and get rid of one. So I told him I wanted one. He came over one weekend and installed it in the back of my car. And of course, the whole time I was just like in heaven.
Yeah. It was
just like a little to the left.
Right. Yeah. And I, of course, had no idea that you had a crush on me or any of this. So I was just doing my thing. Of course, I was still dating your friend. But yeah, a few years later, what was it, sophomore, probably junior year actually of college, we had probably kind of started to slow down a little bit, and it was just finals week. I remember we both were at a bar downtown, Bison Witches, I think.
We made plans on social media. So
right.
That's funny that we're like all in social media now, which we'll get to, but
right.
We reconnected on Twitter.
Somehow, yeah. I sent her a tweet and was like, hey, we're going to be downtown or something. We had bumped into each other before that, though, and connected. But anyway, yeah, we got together at Bison Witches and sort of hit it off, and that was like probably 11 years ago, and I guess the rest is history. So, but yeah, we've made a drastic change in lifestyle since then. We started out when we got together, we were cooking for the first time, but it was cheesy scrambled eggs and bacon and hash browns and pizzas, mac and cheese, like whatever you can make. Like we were just excited to be cooking at home, and that was like an upgrade for us. Even though like I was putting on pounds, but it felt good. I've always been like the skinny kid, like super thin, and I was like, nice, this is awesome. Everybody's like, you must be in love. You're like gaining. You got like 10 pounds on you. It's the love gain, and I'm like, well, yeah, we've been cooking a lot. We've been eating. I don't know what it is, but anyway, it definitely wasn't healthy. We were still going to like Old Chicago on the weekends and getting personal pizzas and heavy wheat beers and stuff like that, and loving life. But it got to a point then with our health. You want to go in on that?
During that time, we were each other's best friends. You know how some like guys and girls, like they'll go out with the guys and the girls go out with the girls, but we were like always doing everything together.
Yeah.
And he had a road bike. I had always wanted a road bike. So he convinced me that let's go out and buy one, and they're ridiculously expensive. But I was like, I gotta do this. Like, finally have a guy that I can do this with, and
like a bicycle, right?
Bicycle, right? Tour de France.
Yeah. And so
I'm
then
the
we
dork
got all
in the spandex.
Yeah. So I think it was more about like the gear and the cool looking bike, and like finding these Pinterest perfect like inspiration type of things, and we started finding older fixer-upper bikes, getting on like Craigslist and garage sales, and we like, I think I powder coated a blue bike in your mom's garage.
Yeah, the whole garage is blue.
The whole garage is blue. I'm like, oh great, she's not gonna like me very much. But we got really into that, and then cycling, and then we got like more into the fitness side of it, and we really enjoyed it. So we had that part under our belts. You know, we started to get really into fitness. But we realized that, you know, you don't really feel that great when you're working out super hard, but you're still eating crappy food, still drinking and staying up late. Your body just starts to feel like you're running yourself ragged.
Yeah.
So.
And they always say you can't out-train a bad diet, and that's totally true. So I was on 2 heartburn medications at the time, you know, still eating whatever I wanted. I was actually eating Subway a lot. You know, Jared was the Subway guy. He's the man, right? He's losing all the weight. I think he's in prison now. But anyway, at the time, maybe not anymore. But, you know, it's supposed to be healthy, you know, cold cuts and stuff. But instead of Val's or Runza, we were doing Subway, and I thought that was the healthy option. But like I said, I was on 2 heartburn medications. Just digestion was all out of whack. I was, we were 25 or 26 at the time, just not feeling right. Working out like crazy, but we definitely weren't healthy.
Yeah. And I was experiencing a plethora of just bizarre symptoms. And I've always been kind of a hypochondriac, which I'm kind of getting over. On and off.
Max hasn't helped that.
No, now I'm worried about him.
Yeah.
But as long as I stay away from Dr. Google, because there was a point where Google was my best friend and my worst enemy simultaneously, because I would refer to Dr. Google for every symptom I had, but it always came back telling me you are going to die.
Yeah, right.
So,
your back aches, you're probably painful death.
Yeah. So I mean, I had a lot of sleepless nights. I was not sleeping. Panic attacks, anxiety attacks, a lot of like breathing issues. Like I had myself convinced that I had all kinds of, you know, different diseases. Even MS, where, you know, numbness, tingling, like loss of function of your extremities, that kind of feeling, and just a ton of brain fog, indigestion, acne, bloating, like so many crazy symptoms. A lot of autoimmune type of stuff was coming up. So coming from a family of doctors, I had a lot of help at my disposal. I was able to get lined up to see several different specialists, to do MRIs, CT scans, all kinds of stuff. Everything came back normal, and you would kind of think that would be reassuring. But I was in this place where I wanted a diagnosis, so I knew what to treat and how to take care of myself and get better. And
I think that's very like American.
Totally.
It's like
there's a pill for that.
Let's diagnose something so we can give you something.
For sure.
Rather than like what's the root cause of this so we can actually fix it.
Right.
Exactly.
So where did it turn from? Because I mean, I would say 70% or probably more of people still feel like that.
Yeah.
Like what made you guys want to change that, I guess? Like, was it something you saw, something you watched, or was it like just looked at each other and like, yes, we're changing this? Or
it was kind of a slow progression.
And then there was like a revelation type of moment when we were at, you want to talk about Dr. Esselstyn?
Yeah, so we kind of in the midst of all this, we graduated from UNL, both of us, same year. Erin got her degree in biology. I got mine in communication. And, I always thought that it would be cool to do some kind of therapy. I didn't know if I wanted to do more school or what. I just wanted to be able to work with people. And Erin you were going to go to med school and kind of decided, that maybe wasn't your thing too, but you still wanted to be able to also help people. And we kind of combined forces and decided to do this lifestyle medicine and like lifestyle coaching. Mm-hmm. So we started going to conferences in Vegas and Miami. They have these conferences in like the most beautiful places, and then they lock you in a room for 3 days.
Yeah.
But we did that a couple of years. I think we got a bunch of education, met a bunch of doctors, and then came home. And one of the doctors was coming to actually Beatrice. They were coming to one of the hospitals. His name is Dr. Esselstyn. And so we had been learning about diet, we were cleaning stuff up. But this guy came and he was talking about something totally new, and it was a plant-based diet. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what the heck is that? Like, what's a plant-based diet? And vegan diet. And he shows up and he's got bean sprout.
Essentially like a vegan diet, but not like processed, tofurkey and all that stuff. But clean, whole foods. And all from plants.
All from plants. And he's a cardiologist. He's like, gosh, he's got to be 80 years old by now. But he's been doing it for years and years. He's a veteran. He was an Olympic medalist. This guy's just amazing and inspiring, super fun to listen to. He showed us echocardiograms of patients who he was reversing their heart disease with the plant-based diet. People that had triple bypasses. And then he brought out the bean sprout quesadillas. Yeah. And we were like, what is this hippie food? And we ate it and we were like, oh, this isn't too bad. So we were like, okay, it was Lent.
The whole plant-based thing seemed a little bit extreme for us. We're like, okay, we can maybe try cutting out meat for 40 days.
Right. And so that's what we did. We were like, Lent is right around the corner, leading up to Easter. Let's do it. If
we're gonna still treat ourselves at Old Chicago, let's be honest, we're gonna need our cheese
for
our cheese pizzas, and we can't live without our scrambled eggs. So it was just 40 days meatless. Let's make sure we can survive.
Right. And we're still both long and lean. Poor Max, he's gonna be a long, skinny kid, just like we both were. I have a feeling, but. Everybody's like, man, you're gonna blow away. Like you've been thin your whole life. Like you're just gonna shrivel up and blow away. And I'm like, tell me about it. I'm freaking out too. Like I'm really nervous here too. But I wanted to do it. We had to try it, and we did. 40 days went by fast. We felt great. We were making veggie sandwiches instead of turkey sandwiches, and but we were still eating our personal cheese pizzas at Old Chicago on the weekends. Day 41, I think I went to Runza and got a Runza and just went straight back to it, you know. And after a couple of weeks, started to feel like crap again. My heartburn was back, and that's when we knew.
I think that also having that introduction via, a physician, not just somebody trendy, pitching some kind of new fad diet or, this was pitched more as it's a lifestyle, this changes your whole lifestyle. This is sustainable throughout the rest of your life. It's not just something you do for 40 days.
Right.
So we got really interested in Dr. Esselstyn and his work and his colleagues' work. We started finding all kinds of medical professionals that had been seeing amazing results in their patients and things like that. Mm-hmm. So we decided, maybe we could inch a little bit more that direction, since what we're learning now is that the more you go, it's like there's a scale, and the further that you go on this end of the scale, the better it is for your body, for your cells. Mm-hmm. And so we decided, okay, maybe we can cut out meat, cut out cheese and try that. I will say the eggs were the very last thing to go.
Yeah.
And we had been making scrambled eggs for breakfast, over easy for lunch, putting them on our sandwiches.
Eggs were our new go-to for every meal, because we had gotten rid of the meat. Mm-hmm. So we
needed the protein, of course. And then we got, we got really excited about getting our blood work done and kind of gauging how things had changed and hoping that things would appear better, so that we could be like, our healthy diet's working.
Yeah.
But mine actually showed that my cholesterol was extremely high. And the nurses at my dad's clinic had said, your mom, her side of the family has high cholesterol, so does your dad's. Heart disease runs in the family on both sides, so you might want to think about jumping on a medication to kind of keep things in check. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, so how long do you stay on that? And she's just like, well, forever.
For the rest of your life.
And that just didn't sit right with me. So again, getting on Google, like, what can I do for this? Mm-hmm. And finding that food can be used as medicine.
Right. We went back to Esselstyn and we realized there's actually more cholesterol in one egg than I think 2 quarter pounders for McDonald's or something. It's something crazy. Wow. Mm-hmm. And we're like, oh, well, that's obviously why your cholesterol is high, because we've been living off of eggs for the last 6 months or whatever. And so we went full vegan. We were like, let's just cut it all out. Let's go full on plant-based diet, cut out the eggs. Your cholesterol dropped. Mine was already
2 months.
Yeah, in just a matter of a few weeks. Mine did too. Mine wasn't actually bad, but it got even better. And we just started dialing in on how do we do this? We want to remain athletes, right? We want to be strong. We want to be fit. And how are we going to do that now on a plant-based diet? Mm-hmm. The number one question is, where do you guys get your protein? Mm-hmm. And so we were like, yeah, where the heck do we get our protein? And we started looking into that and started doing recipes, smoothies and shakes and green juices. Erin started posting on Instagram. That's kind of how it started.
Yeah, I had a handful of friends just asking me, hey, what was that smoothie recipe again? Or can you share this? Or do you have a blog? And I started kind of, just play around with it on Instagram and got great feedback.
Yep.
And we both were kind of in this like self-discovery mode, and we felt like new people, So we decided we'd each create our own website as a way to kind of express ourselves. And we both loved photography and graphic design and just piecing everything together and writing. So we both made our own websites, and I was like, okay, I'm going to buy 2 domains. I'm going to have erinstanczyk.com, but that's really hard to spell and hard to remember. Right. So let's also go with what are the 3 things that we all do every day that we could all be doing better?
Yeah.
Eat, move, rest. Because that's kind of what we had been doing for ourselves. Because I'm like, man, our eating is dialed in. We're working out all the time, and I'm not feeling as anxious anymore. I think the biggest part of that was like I started to feel better and better, like less weird bodily symptoms, and so the anxiety was going down as well, because I was realizing that you put good in, you get good out. And before it was just there was this disconnect, and I'm like, I'm anxious because I know I'm doing things that aren't good for me, and it's like a vicious cycle. So eatmoverest.com.
And were you guys like at that point, were you like, let's just do this full on, like full time, or is this like, because I think a lot of people would be like, man, all of this sounds like a full-time job,
right? Yeah.
To be able to create meals that work for this and like thinking about all of this, but you guys are probably working a different job at the same time. Yeah. So like, how did you guys like figure out the balance in that? To me, that's super interesting.
Yeah. Erin said we created separate websites. I made mine, which is why I follow you guys. I love remodeling and contracting work, and my dad was a builder, and I grew up around all that stuff. So I'm like, well, maybe I can get this going for myself. So I posted all the pictures of all the jobs I've done, and kind of thought we would go in that direction. We have an Airbnb that we rent out, and we host weddings and stuff like that. So that I still do some of those things, but that was basically my full time. Erin, you work at the clinic. You do stem cell therapies with your dad there for joints and things like that. So we did both have like full-time other jobs. And when we started again, it was just Erin kind of posting pictures and stuff. And then it turned into like, hey, you should start a blog because we want these recipes. And then the blog turned into like, hey, you guys should do a YouTube channel so we can actually see the recipes. And that's kind of where we're at now. And we still are actually both working.
But it's like, this is what I would probably want to be doing in my free time anyways. So it's like when I'm not at the clinic, I love creating beautiful food, taking pictures, photography. Like I said, we both always loved. So just kind of like documenting that experience for the world instead of just for myself. And it was a little nerve-wracking at first, but
for sure.
I just think that for how much better we both feel and started to feel at the time, like we owed it to ourselves and to everyone else to share, because whose life could you possibly change, even if just one person, even if it's just convincing your mom or dad or your brother or sister.
Right.
So
that's where I think the idea that this could be a thing kind of came up. We started to hear from more and more people, and they're like, hey, this is awesome. These are super tasty. You know, my mom has heart disease, or I have high cholesterol or whatever. And so then we were like, wow, you know, my dad always said, figure out a way to help people and the money will come. Like you can make anything work as long as you're helping people. And so I'm like, well, this could be like, maybe this could be a job. And YouTube was like the next step.
But it was like both. I think it was at least my biggest fear.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. And
what was?
Just being on video, like,
yeah.
just talking to the world, seeing myself on camera. No one likes to hear themselves, let alone see themselves.
Right. On
I remember the first time I recorded
scary.
for the first time. Like, we put out an EP, and I was like,
you have to try really hard to not beat yourself up.
Yeah.
Like, it's difficult. But it was just the next progression. We're like, we want to feel more connected. I mean, we're doing everything online. At least maybe it'll help other people feel more connected to us.
Yeah.
And that's how we were learning too. So that's a big part of it is on YouTube. I was going to YouTube for all of the recipes I wanted to search. I found a couple YouTubers that I was like ridiculously inspired by. And I was like, I want to be like her. That's really cool. And she changed my life.
Yeah.
Now maybe I can do that for somebody else. And
and it's grown a lot.
It has.
So like, was it like a exponential growth, or was it like you guys put out some stuff and you're like, man, I really thought more people would like this?
For sure.
It was definitely like
huge following for like the whole like the lifestyle thing.
Yeah. I think for about the first year, we felt like we were talking to nobody. It was just like a handful
the first
of
couple years. So we've been at it for like 3.5 years. Not quite 3.5, but man, the first couple years at least, there was nothing. Like our videos were getting a few hundred views, and I'm like, half of these are me like refreshing the page,
just
like,
making sure it looks right.
Yeah. But we were really enjoying like getting our quality of videos really dialed in. Like,
it's so hard to go back and watch the first ones.
You don't have to. You can easily pop up your iPhone and just like shoot a video, and it can get great views. But we liked the like attention to detail stuff and
Is that
fiddling with cameras and lenses.
What you think like motivated you guys to like keep doing it was like like, okay, I know like we're not getting tons of views, but it's like I want to know how to do this better. Like, the constant like problem solving.
For sure.
Definitely. Yeah, that was one of our favorite parts.
It's the creative aspect. You know, like I said, we were both creative kids, and I was like, you know what? My little brother actually is the one that's taught me all the camera video skills. He works for Red Thread downtown, and their little business is just killing it. They're a bunch of like 20-some-year-olds that they just won a bunch of awards last weekend. And anyway, so he told me what camera to buy. He told me how to use it, and I just wanted to be creative with it. You know, I was inspired by him, and even though we weren't getting views or likes or shares or anything, I was like, I feel like I'm learning. And you know, it's a lot easier than tearing a house down or tearing the walls out. And I can, you know, I don't necessarily want to be doing that when I'm 60. You know, maybe I can continue to create, you know, with this little camera device for forever and enjoy it. So I think that's what kept us motivated, even though we weren't getting a following, was just being creative with it. So.
And it sounds to me like you guys are the type of people that you have enough passion for what you're doing that you'd probably just be doing it regardless.
Yeah.
Even though
definitely.
even though it like felt like nobody was watching.
Yeah.
It's like you probably would still be doing some sort of version of what you're doing now, even if you didn't have a following.
I think so.
Yeah. And then as soon as I got pregnant, which was kind of like, whoa, this is happening. We were both a little bit freaked out.
I've been there.
Max surprised us. Yeah, you're currently there. That's funny.
So then Max sharing that whole journey, pregnancy and everything, I mean, I think that just blew the doors wide open. And then it's like the moment that Max was born, we kind of like shared our birth story video. It went kind of crazy. And then all of a sudden it just started growing really, you know, all on its own, just organically.
Last September,
we weren't really pushing anything. It just happened.
Yeah. So we've consistently put a video out every week since what is it then, 2016?
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Which I look back and I'm like, that's crazy. It's so much work. It's so much more than it seems like.
Yeah, there's been a lot of tears along the way.
A lot of arguments, like we were talking earlier how Wednesdays are our shoot days. I've come to somewhat dread Wednesdays because there's so much work that goes into filming.
It's kind of a love-hate thing at
times.
It's
a love-hate thing.
But it's just, just full transparency, because a lot of YouTube comments that we see are like, your guys' lives look so perfect, or how do you stay so happy? Yep. I'm like, there's a lot of editing.
Yeah,
there's a lot of bleeps that
first
get
10
cut
seconds.
out.
Guys, come on.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bleeps that get cut.
Right, right. But
yeah,
human. So last September, we were then a couple years in, and we had just hit 10,000, and that was huge for us. 10,000 subscribers. Your Instagram has been pretty big for a while, but YouTube was just a drag, it seemed like. And so we hit 10,000 last September, and then this last September we hit 50,000. So in that first 2 years, it took us that long to get to that point, and then this last year, it's almost it has quadrupled, which has been really exciting.
And something that has stuck with me is, my parents are entrepreneurs. My dad having his own practice. My mom's the business manager there, so she told me that it took them about 5 years to really get to a place where they could be comfortable. But the first year, she's like, the first day we opened, we had one patient.
Yeah.
It does take time. And she was always just encouraging us and always kind of finding these little avenues for us to explore, kind of like that lifestyle medicine course that we did to get certified, she had found for us. So being entrepreneurs themselves, they were really encouraging the whole time and continue to be.
Yep, same thing.
I mean,
go ahead.
Like with construction industry, it's like first 5 years is 50% attrition rate. Right. It's either you're going to fail or you're and then it goes up from there.
Right.
So
you have to buy the tools and buy the trucks and all the stuff. But same thing. My grandpa, built his own business. My dad, again, same thing, entrepreneur. And so we have a good support system behind us of people that are like, just don't quit yet. Don't quit yet. Don't quit yet. And so we kind of have stuck with it. And this year has been fun. We've started to work with some brands, so we get sponsorship opportunities, which is how most people make a living on YouTube, because Google doesn't pay much. I'll just be honest. So that's been fun. It's been great. It's like, wow, this could actually become a thing for us someday.
Not just the side hustle.
Not just the side hustle.
It still is.
Yeah, it still definitely is the side hustle, but it's looking up, which is exciting for us. So
what were the thoughts of or what points hit where you're like, man, I don't think I want to keep going?
Yeah.
Where were those, and what got you around that
I think
corner?
For me, it was our first taste of criticism, or not really. I mean, I don't think we're opposed to constructive criticism, but just sometimes people want to tear you down.
There's some trolls out there.
Destructive criticism for sure. So
some
that
guy
kind of
in the basement of his mom's house.
Yes, definitely.
Eating a steak. Yeah. Wants to say something.
Yeah.
Some crazy vegan thing.
That kind of hurt at first.
Yeah.
But I was like, again, going back to other YouTubers, I'm like, I follow these other people that inspire me, and I see that they don't get all praise. They get, some of the negative too, and seeing them just keep their head held high and not even always to have to address it. Sometimes it's not worth your time or your effort.
Yeah.
And so that was just encouraging and inspiring to just
But
look
it was
to them
definitely, like you said, a point where you're like, this sucks. Is it worth this?
Yeah.
And then especially, I remember looking at a video that I was super proud of, and I think it got 900 views, and it had been weeks, and I was like, are you kidding me? I'm like, I graduated with almost that many people. That's, come on, it's got to do better than this. This is for the world to see. And then I was like, man, this might not be worth it. And I felt that, I would say for the first year, just constantly being like, man, we're just not getting any traction. And then all of a sudden, it did start to pick up, and I learned a few things with the camera and editing and updated software, and then it got to the point where I didn't care anymore about the views and the comments, because we were just having fun.
And plus, you zoom out, and it's like, look, there's people that have a million, if not multiple millions of subscribers.
Right.
And when is enough? Well, it's never. So, you might as well just enjoy the process of getting to wherever you're going.
Yeah, totally.
But it is hard though, because it's like you put your heart and your soul into creating something. Yeah. And then you like stand back and you're like,
watch it. Just
nobody's doing anything with this. Right. Why?
And I think another thing too was that we would share things like kind of before YouTube, we would share things on Facebook, and I would feel like nobody, no friends, no family, said anything.
Facebook is hard for some reason. I feel like they want you to pay.
We kind of wanted to like be able to spread our wings, which YouTube, we feel like, I mean, we host retreats in Costa Rica now. Yeah. People from all over the world joined us who felt like they knew us and they felt connected to us and they were really inspired by our message. So I think sometimes you have to go outside of your own bubble and that's the cool thing about social media and the internet is you could be like the most niche person with like the most obscure random hobby or interest. Like I'm really into adult Legos and I don't know,
underwater basket weaving.
Right, yeah.
And there could be like a whole clan of people like so that was one of the cool things that we've found is that we've kind of started to establish our own tribe and then it's really cool now being able to connect in person with a handful of those people.
Right. Yeah, the retreat was big for us because that was, again, the YouTube hadn't really taken off, but we were able to sell 15 spots to our Costa Rica retreat last March.
Where'd that come from? Like, where'd the idea for that come from?
We wanted to go.
I'm like, that sounds like a lot of freaking work.
It was, and it is.
Yeah.
We wanted to go on one. We were like, we need to go. Let's go on a retreat. Like that's what we want to do. And we're like, what the heck? Why don't we just have our own? Why don't we just host it? And there was this place that we had our eyes on. Erin was actually messaging one of the guys that had hosted there before.
It was divine timing.
It was totally divine timing. Your Instagram had hit like 35,000 or something, and you were all excited about it because now Erin was hearing from some of these other like influencers and people, just because it's all like a numbers game, right? Yeah. And so you had been able to contact some of these people that were hosting retreats, and you were like, hey, is there any way that you would be able to get us in touch with this person? You want to tell that story?
Where at in Costa Rica?
It's in the middle of nowhere, honestly.
It's like, honestly, like you can't MapQuest your way there. Yeah. It's just hidden up in the hills.
Even better.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe, what is it, like an hour from the beach?
It's a real retreat.
It is. Yeah, it's like an hour from Jaco.
We fly into San Jose, which is like a big city there, and then take a shuttle 4.5 hours down into the jungle.
Yeah. So we took it like half the way, like 2 hours to the beach, and then we kind of hung out, and then it's like another hour and a half.
So I've been to the place. Manuel Antonio before.
Oh, nice.
I didn't know if it was near that area or not. But.
No, we had been up near Arenal and the volcano and stuff up there. This is like farther south and like pretty much right in the middle of the country. Huh. Well, no, it's not quite that. I don't know. We'd have to point to it on a map, but there aren't like towns or hardly even roads. So anyway, it's on its own. It's owned by a group or a couple from the States. They got fed up with their lives. Similar story. They were both sick. They were both tired and wanted to change, so they up and moved to Costa Rica. Started this place like 15 years ago, I want to say. And yeah, it's all self-sustaining.
This influencer that I had messaged was there at the time. He had just finished hosting his retreat, and he's like, well, I'm sitting here with Brian and Jody right now.
The owners, I'll
have them send you an email. And they said that one of their previous hosts had just dropped out and said she couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So they're like, we have an opening every March. These are the dates. We want you to kind of develop, keep coming back each year around the same time. And so we're like, okay, so now they said yes, but now I'm scared. I don't know if
they needed a deposit, right? So we scrounged up $1,500 for their deposit, and we're like, well, I guess now we have to fill this.
Yeah, we got to do
it. We did not believe in ourselves, but they're like, you guys got this. They put all their trust in us, and somehow we filled the spots, and
that's got to be really reassuring too.
It was
to have somebody that not only, because I feel like a lot of times with stuff like that, it's like the place is just a host place,
right?
And they're not like there to support you, other than like here's your stuff that
here's
you
your
need
spot,
or
give us our money.
Yeah.
And if you get anybody or not, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this place is unique because it's not like a resort. It's like their spot, and they were like, we'll help you. They want people there too.
Yep.
So it was good to have their support. So the
first thing I did was I got on the phone and I was like, Mom, you're coming on a retreat. We need to fill at least one spot.
Right.
And it wasn't short. It was shortly after, a couple months later.
Yeah, we found out Max was also going to be coming with us.
Yeah. We're like, oh crap! Yeah. So we're hosting this retreat, and we're going to have let's do the math, a 3-month-old in Costa Rica with us. And we're like, let's do it. We always said we wanted to travel with our kids, and so
and the kids part we weren't 100% sure of. The travel part we knew we wanted to do. We just weren't sure we'd ever have kids. Obviously God had other plans. He's been a blessing. He did great on the trip. We basically had 15 babysitters with us.
Everyone just wanted to hold him, and
it was great. Yoga, dancing, cacao party, like just crazy weird hippie stuff.
So it was like plant-based nutrition, but stripped even more raw and really actually just all raw foods, which was another cool thing. It's just like fresh fruits and veggies in like the best place in the world to be enjoying
grown
them.
On the farm, falling off the trees.
Thinking about like fruit.
Like who would have thought? Who would have known that like you could subsist on just fruits and vegetables, juices, nuts, seeds, like it was just so clean and so pure. But like I don't know if I could like swing that here.
No,
but there it just felt normal there, It didn't feel like unnatural or like we were being deprived. It felt normal.
It felt like the way to be. We were drinking water that was literally coming down the mountain, and it's just amazing. I mean, it's a perfect place to be for that type of lifestyle. So we're excited to go back this year. I think we're pretty much full. I think we maybe have a couple spots, 1 or 2. I think we convinced your mom to come back again so she can help babysit. But so we're looking forward to it again.
It's going to be interesting this year too because Max is just about to start walking.
Yeah,
he's standing up on his own, and he's going to be a handful this year.
It was easy to set him in the corner last year. This year we're going to need to put a leash on him and hope that some kind of jaguar or poisonous snake doesn't get him. It's like in the jungle, but we're looking forward to it.
Do they have howler monkeys out there?
Yeah.
So when we were there, it was on a mission trip for me.
Yeah.
And that's like my weirdest story that I had. One, there was a corral snake that came out and somebody killed it.
Yeah.
But we were out there and we were in the middle of nowhere, jungle, staying at this like concrete with like a metal shed roof.
Yeah.
And no like real windows, just had like the block that was open.
Yeah.
And it was the middle of the night and I just hear this like crazy noise.
Yeah.
And nobody had told anybody that there was howler monkeys.
Yeah.
And if you've ever heard a howler monkey,
it's scary.
They sound like a zombie.
Yeah.
Like is going to come murder you. And so I like woke up and I was hearing that and nobody else was awake and I was like, why aren't you guys like freaking out about this? And I like turned and a lot of these people had never seen white people before.
Yeah.
So they would like come up to our place at night and like look in and like
oh my gosh,
look at the gringos, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm hearing this noise and then I turn over and I just see 2 hands
on
the bar and like somebody looking in at me. I'm just like,
what is happening? Right, this is the end.
I'm just gonna turn over and go back to bed. But the howler monkeys are just crazy for the size they are. So I was wondering if they're out there.
I think we were by the pool, like all of us one day. We stayed super active, a bunch of activities, hiking and stuff, but I think we did have a little bit of like pool time, and there were monkeys that sounded like somebody was being murdered. There was like
the real story is that
it's different?
That we all thought that there was like you can't see any of the other properties because it's so heavily wooded down in the valley. Yep. And we heard all this screaming and we were all convinced that there must have been a woman who was either being chased by a man with a knife or something, but it sounded like she was desperately in trouble. And we're like, is there any way we can get help down there? Like something needs to happen.
And the hosts were like, no, it's just monkeys.
That's
Brian
what they
had
said
it was just the howler monkeys. And we're like, no, that was a woman. That was like, and then I don't know. Later at dinner time, he actually told us he called down to the adjacent retreat center, and they were doing a primal screaming
activity.
And I'm like, so that's something you warn your surrounding neighbors of.
Like hey, just so you know,
we're gonna be
there's some crazy noises that are gonna be happening.
Like I knew those weren't monkeys, but thanks Brian for lying to all of us to make us feel safe.
But we're off topic now.
No, that's all right.
It's all good.
What in? Because Lincoln, I feel like, has been kind of a vegan desert for a long time.
Yeah, definitely.
So, like, what are your, like, go-to spots? Yeah. Like, if you're gonna go out, like, have a night out, or, like, go eat somewhere, like, what are your suggestions for Lincoln people?
Well, I mean...
It's funny because I think they're the same places that we honestly... have always gone, but we didn't ever think of them as vegan meals that we were eating. But like a lot of the ethnic restaurants, it's really easy to find stuff. So Thai, Indian, anything Asian, really.
We love Tandoor over on Old Cheney. We just got carry out from the oven.
Blue Orchid and Isara are both kind of Thai fusion.
Yeah.
They have tons of just like, they're not really like milk or cream based. It's like coconut, curry type stuff.
And they're already that way. So
if they're not, they're all really educated there. If you just say I'm vegan, they'll leave out whatever small ingredient.
Fish sauce or whatever the one thing might have been.
Those are our definite favorites, and they always have been. So it was nice to be able to go to the same places. And sushi, there's a lot of great veggie sushi at Blue.
Yeah, Blue has a bunch of really good vegan ones. They're even marked on the menu. Hero's got some good options too. Hero 88.
And then our friend Sarah Brown just opened up Rutabagas downtown in the old Spaghetti Works spot. Yeah. So
she's awesome.
We've had her. We host plant-based dinners at our house from time to time. We were doing a month to month, but now with Max, we kind of have our hands full. But she had actually catered one for us and made a whole bunch of good food, and her stuff is just incredible. And it's like.
I had one of the cookies the other day. I was like,
"Oh, those monsters!"
Yeah, they're good. Chunky. It's a great way to introduce anybody to a vegan diet, even if they're super skeptical that they're not gonna like it. Like, there's no way you couldn't enjoy her food.
And we've even catered it to your parents' house. Erin's dad is like the furthest thing from a vegan, even though he's a doctor. We always tease him, but he loved Sarah's food too. So. She actually did one of our local retreats. So I mentioned our Airbnb. We have a spot called the Boathouse out south of town where we host weddings and stuff. We've done a few day retreats there with like healthy food and some running and some yoga and stuff like that. And I think Sarah helped us with one of those. And then our friend Eric, who actually owns Honest Abe's, he reached out to us a couple years ago because he wanted to go vegan. So, and that might be a secret that he's keeping.
He offers a lot of options now at his restaurant. Yeah. Sebastian's Table has some options.
Yeah, I know Gabe really well. Eric
oh, nice.
Gabe,
so cool. So he helped us with one of our retreats do the food.
He's an insane chef.
Oh, he's so good, so good. Yeah, so he made us some pastas that were just. Oh man, that's my go-to is Italian food. So
one place that we're kind of waiting on is Laszlo's. It's like if you just want like a classic meal, they don't really have. One time we went there after a football game, bellied up at the bar and got a pile of green beans and baked potatoes. Yeah, that's all we could.
That's all they had. That's all they had.
This guy next to us was eating the biggest, juiciest steak. So it was hilarious because like just. A bunch of green beans and potatoes, and it was embarrassing. Like,
I think I might have
when they showed up, and it was like
servers, like
a mound.
What was the look on their face when you're like, "Hey, can I just get all the green beans you guys have?"
I think we explained it to him. I think I actually ordered French fries too. So we had like potatoes, and then like French fried potatoes and green beans. But
can we get all three versions of potatoes, please?
Yeah, exactly. But we've been surprised. Trader Joe's was our go-to. Grocery store for a long time. Now we have Whole Foods, natural grocers. We're lucky here. Open Harvest is our favorite.
Yeah, we love Open
They've got like the best produce.
You get their burritos all the time.
The burritos are
so good. They're not expensive at all.
No. They just did a whole like grocery remodel too. So it's that place is great. Highly recommend.
I think everybody there knows Max and loves him. And
it's so funny.
I mean, that's kind of the fun part about Lincoln too.
Yeah.
Is like if you frequent certain places, you just get to know people just because you're around.
Right.
Like and it's not in a way that's like So I feel like sometimes in small towns people are like, oh, I don't want to go to the grocery store because I'm just going to see somebody I know.
Yeah.
Like it's in a way where it's like I want to go there because they like welcome me.
For sure.
Definitely.
For sure.
And even our farmers markets are great. We get as much as we can when the markets. It's like every Sunday we go to the South Farmers Market, just like church. Like it's like a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
And it's amazing, and we've seen it grow so much over the past few years.
Yep.
It seems like it's so cool to like get your produce from the market.
Our favorite guy, Dwayne, that has Wolf. He's got a small stand. He doesn't have. We like Robinette too. We like everybody, but a couple of years ago there was like 1 or 2 organic stands, and now like everybody's organic, and it's just
Wolf had organic sweet corn. He's like the only one at the market.
Right.
Wolf,
we were like his.
Is Wolf Produce or
Wolf Farms is his stand. He's just a good old guy named Dwayne, but he was leading the pack there, and now everybody, we started showing up, and the market's just growing like crazy. The holiday harvest markets are going on now, so there's one next week, I think, and then there's one right before Christmas, and that's like an indoor market. And
where's that?
They're like in the old skating rink off of Van Dorn.
Oh, okay.
Or
there's
I guess that's kind of the new
down in
one.
there. It's in one of those.
Yeah, like they have like wedding receptions down there.
Oh, okay.
And kind of like there's like football fields and stuff down there.
I think I know what you're talking about.
They're old. It's not fancy. It's just a big space. Right. And they've got like music playing and then just a bunch of people slinging veggies, but it's a good time, and we're super lucky to have it. So we spent a lot of time in California the last couple of years. We got a lot of friends and stuff out there, and they have farmers markets every day, and they've got fruit and all of this stuff, and we're like, man, it would be so nice to have this. But we're always pleasantly surprised when we come home. We've got a lot here. So
what do you think? Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. We started growing our own too. Like we have a little garden. It's small, but it's amazing how small of a space, how much you can grow in just a small space.
But also how hard it is. Like you have a new respect for farmers.
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What are you guys growing?
Kale has been like the thing that lasts the longest.
Lasts forever.
Yeah, I mean, it still grows in like
through
December.
It freezes and freezes and freezes, and it's like
we just grow lots of greens, lots of tomatoes. We grew berries, which was awesome.
So we got some blueberries and raspberries.
We had 2 peach
How did you
trees.
keep the squirrels away from the blueberries?
I built some cages and stuff that ultimately didn't really last, but we just got lucky, I feel like. But we have a big Bernese Mountain Dog that probably helps to keep the pests away. But the biggest thing was to pick them like right away.
we had
raspberries.
2 peach trees that Dusty planted a couple years ago, and like last year we had 3 peaches total. This year it was like 300.
No,
it was ridiculous.
More than we could even like gather and eat.
I'm like, I can't believe how quickly they produced.
Yeah.
But then again, going back to how much respect we have for especially organic farmers, because we didn't put anything on any of our plants, but like I'd say 50% of the peaches had worms in them.
Yeah.
So there was maybe 50% edible.
You just gotta cut. You gotta cut around it. So we've actually learned though that you want pests in and on your fruit, because if the bugs aren't eating the fruit, there's like a reason for that.
Yeah.
It's not good fruit, and so we're like, okay, it's got a worm in it. You just cut around it and eat the rest of the fruit. Like that's your primo peach right there.
Our next door neighbors, they have like their whole lot next to them. I don't know if you saw when you pulled up.
Yeah, I did.
It's literally all like
garden.
Yeah,
I saw that.
And so it's like
awesome.
During the summer,
impressive.
all of a sudden it's just like we have a bag of veggies on our porch.
That's
it's like, okay, they're like, sorry,
awesome.
we just ran out of room to can them all.
Yeah.
Like, we're okay with that. Like, bring them over.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's my grandparents had a huge garden too. They had a house next door to them that was like a rental house. And then, so my grandpa like stole the backyard from the rental house and made it his garden. And it was huge and massive. And it's been fun.
But it takes a lot of work.
So much work, dude. Yeah.
I was very surprised because we tried to do blueberries. We had a strawberry patch before we had our house fire. And we loved that. Like, my wife would make strawberry cobbler and just super good stuff. But this year we tried to do strawberries and blueberries, and the blueberries were gone in like 2 days.
Yeah.
I was like, they were there and we're like, oh, we should go pick them.
Yeah.
And then it was like the next day and they're
gone.
They were just disappeared.
Yeah.
But we also have like a wildlife area basically behind our house.
So there's no keeping them out.
So yeah. It's like we have a fox living next door and like
squirrels and
deer. And there was a hawk back there the other day. And I was just like,
that's cool.
That's a cool part about it. But it's also like,
that's where your food goes.
Stolen.
Yeah. What's up with the foxes in Lincoln? We see them all like on our front porch. Like this lady ran up with her golden retriever one night and was pounding on our door, and I'm like freaked out, kind of like, what's going on out there? So I opened the door, and she's like, please, you gotta help me, I'm being chased by a fox. And I'm like, oh my gosh, sure enough, this fox, I grab a big like spotlight flashlight. This fox is
coming
in our
up
front yard.
in our yard, like staring at us.
So he's like stalking the golden retriever?
Yeah. He was like after this
She had flashing lights on his collar and on her ankles. I'm like, maybe he's like getting territorial. I don't know.
Maybe like
that's attracting
the lights
him,
were attracting him or something.
Weird.
But yeah, it was kind of scary.
Yeah, they're crazy.
And they're all over, it seems like. Every neighbor, like,
and the funniest thing is, like, the first time we heard one and didn't know what we were hearing.
Oh, yeah.
And there's that old song, like, what does a fox say?
Yeah.
Yes. It doesn't say what you would think.
No.
It also screams terrifying.
Yeah. It's kind of like the howler monkey of the plains is a fox. Like, what a weird noise. But
What about Lincoln, I guess, do you think has made Eat, Move, Rest like grow and like nurture it, besides like your family and stuff, like spurring it on? Has like there been a community of people around you in Lincoln that's like yes, keep doing this because we need this?
Right.
Or this is definitely something totally unique to like Lincoln,
for sure.
What you said, it was a vegan desert, so just interested to hear like how it's been for you guys to be in Lincoln.
You know, it's been hit or miss. Obviously, we're like the beef state, you know. So a lot of people are really interested. Like, they want to know what you're doing.
Everybody's plant curious, but nobody wants to say it. But like, anybody can get on their computer and look something up without feeling any shame or embarrassment.
Right. So we, in the beginning, we got a huge response from people that just want to know what we're doing. Are you opening a restaurant? What are you guys? And
what is this?
Yeah, and we're like, we don't know. We're just like, I don't know.
We've thought about restaurants and food trucks, and it all sounds so much fun.
Yeah.
But
we're also learning.
Yeah. Man, I have never wanted to start a restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like that sounds like so much.
And see,
work.
that's what we keep hearing from people, and so we're like, you know what? We're learning from our parents who, you know, have had businesses and overhead, frankly. We're like, let's see if we can keep this as thin as we can.
Absolutely.
Like, maybe we do want to live in Italy someday, or like, you know, move somewhere else, even for a short time. Like, let's see if we can make a living online. So we haven't really set up shop, but we still have had a great support from people. They come to our retreats when we do them out at the boathouse.
Yeah, that's
Sarah
something we want to be able to continue to do more of.
Yeah,
hopefully
local
in
retreats.
The future is to be able to continue giving back to our community here locally.
Right.
Because it's fun when it's the people you bump into at the market and stuff, and you hear their stories, and they tell you how much better they feel, and so
we do a lot of like one-on-one coaching. We do some like couples coaching, like just bring people over and say, hey, let's make a meal together, or you know, we can do a full-on like meal plan and stuff like that. So we've done a lot of that stuff locally. We've been invited to the market to do some demos, and we go to the high schools and stuff. Been to both of our alma maters and given a few demos, and gotten a few hate letters from parents that,
I'm sure.
that are like, what are you teaching my kid? So we went to Southeast, which is where I graduated from. We've been there a couple times now, and the second time we went back, one of the teachers is a friend of ours, and she was like, hey, just so you know, I'm going to continue to ask you guys back. But some of the parents were a little upset, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So we, we're no longer saying the V word. You know, we're no longer like pushing the vegan agenda.
And also like keeping that beginner's mind and reminding ourselves that we used to make fun of us, basically. We used to make fun of people that were vegans, and we just thought it was all just hilarious. But to kind of keep that beginner's mind and not be judgy and not push people away or leave people out, and not even to use the V word like Bessie said, but instead to be like, look, nobody can argue with more fruits, more vegetables.
Right.
So if we can show like the vibrant, life-giving, energizing, colorful side of things without having to like be like, oh, you're wearing a leather belt, you're not a vegan,
right,
you know?
Yeah. Right. We've been kind of easing up on ourselves too, because you know life's too short to be like militant with yourself or with other people, and there is a such thing as the vegan police. Like there are people out there, and they're just waiting for you to screw up, and they're going to call you on something. And that's why we like our name, Eat, Move, Rest. You know, there's no agenda there. It's like super simple. The 3 things we all do every day, but we could all do better.
And there's no perfect formula. Like some people want to know, I just want to do what you do, exactly how you do it. Tell me your routine. Yeah. It's like, no, it's more about like, it's everybody has their own way of doing those things their best. Yeah. So there can be a bodybuilder who really, really loves that. And there can be a ultra marathon runner who really, really loves that form of fitness. Yeah. And you just have to find the way that it fits you, that suits you best.
Right. That's actually something we've been trying to get into more. Our channel's definitely food heavy. We've been trying to get into more workout videos and stuff. Erin, you actually teach or have been teaching the last couple of years some spin classes downtown at Fly. You've done some bar classes down there, and so now we're incorporating some of that.
I love classes, but being a new mom means I have to figure out a way to have instruction at home. So like doing YouTube videos has been awesome because it's a free way to work out at home.
Yeah. Right. And so we've had a ton of local people especially be like, hey, it's so fun to still be able to keep up. People that were coming to Erin's classes now can do Erin's classes on YouTube, like in the living room. So we've been trying to do that more. And again, it's a good way to keep in touch.
Do you guys have like gym memberships or things that you go to?
You know what? We actually...
I know your guys' garage. I'm sure if somebody drives by, they're like...
Yeah, I know. We've got the garage decked out. So that was like the first project of mine when we moved into our old house. Which now feels new, but the garage was paneling, and I don't know if the guy was like a welder, but like you guys have like a bike shop down here. This guy had, I don't know what he was building, but the tools and the bench that he had, like it took me weeks to tear out this garage. But anyway, I've transformed it into a gym. So we haven't had gym memberships for years. Until recently. It's so much harder to work out with Max. Both of our moms work out over at the Racket Club, which is now Genesis, I think. So and I think we're actually, and Erin's brother, and so we're actually thinking about joining there.
We've and 2 of our really good friends. So like we're getting pressure from so many people lately
to rejoin the gym. So we've actually been hitting like Saturday morning boot camp, like flipping tires and that type of stuff, which has been really fun. And they have a daycare. So we're like, boom, perfect. So I think we are going to join. I think we are going to rejoin for that reason.
I feel like it's going to be like that episode of Friends. I don't know if you guys watch Friends.
Oh, yeah.
Where
Joey or Ross and Chandler want to quit the gym.
Yeah. And they can't because every time they send out this like bombshell that's like, you can't quit the gym.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're probably we're trying to work out like a social collab with them so we get a free membership if we post for them. So we're going to try to work that out so it's we don't feel so tied down.
But again, also, like, I mean, it is nice to be able to work out at home and watch YouTube videos because, like, no excuses. Yeah. If you can't leave the house, you can get it done that way. But at the same time, especially in the winter, you kind of feel like, I just want to be out, like, around people.
You get a little stir crazy.
And we don't go to the bars anymore, and we don't really eat at Old Chicago anymore. Like, where are we going to find people, you know, that are like-minded? So just going to a gym, or, like, I still go to Fly, where I sub at, and I used to teach classes at. So just being around community of like-minded people has been, like, bliss.
Yeah, it has been fun. The Saturday morning boot camps are sweet. But...
Yeah, I mean, Lincoln is cool in the way that it has, like, at least one of everything. Yeah. And it's always done really well.
Yeah.
So we may not have 1,000 cycle studios, but Fly is amazing.
Yeah. We're really lucky.
Yeah.
I feel like it's because, like, those people who start those things have so much passion about it.
Yeah.
And that they're just gonna do it regardless,
right? And they're gonna make it work.
And they're gonna make it work. Whereas like maybe bigger towns, it's like it's a chain of something else that just wants to start because they know they can get market share or whatever. Whereas like here, it's like, no, we're starting it because we genuinely love it or believe in it.
Right. So that's something else cool about Lincoln. So Jenny, Bruning Brown, who started Fly, and her husband, they lived in California. You know, Erin and I have talked about moving to the West Coast and and stuff for a while. We've got so many friends out there and more opportunity for our business, frankly, just because there's more people and nicer weather and a few things that might make it a little bit easier. But we find that people keep coming back to Lincoln. So Jenny, who started Fly, she was in San Francisco. Their family was in San Francisco. They came back to Lincoln to start their business. She was a psychologist, isn't she? And doing that work, she's like, my dream was to start an awesome gym. And she's like, I came back to hometown Lincoln to do it. And there's something about it here. It's really cool.
You're able to fill a void as opposed to just doing what everybody else is already doing.
Exactly. Yeah.
And if you can do it well, then you can survive and provide something that wasn't here before, just to and I think having the university helps a lot too, because even if the rest of us older closed-minded people don't enjoy something, at least there's university students to kind of get the ball rolling with certain things.
Or cool university workers even. That, like, the lady that cuts my hair, her husband just got tenure at the university, but he's like from the UK, and it's like there's enough really cool people that I think the university kind of ushers in, that we do have cool restaurants, we do have cool yoga studios and all kinds of stuff that just big enough for those things to survive, but not too big for
it's all getting drowned out.
Right. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. It's a good place. We love it. Cool. And there's good guys like you hosting podcasts that have us on.
We're trying. Trying to spread the love.
Right.
But is there anything that you want our audience to know other than eat plants and fruits?
Yeah. eat more veggies. Reach out to us. We still are checking as many messages that we can. Probably too many, which is why we're arguing half the time, because we're both on our phones reading DMs constantly. But
you gotta have like a DM hour.
I know.
Both get in there and just go for it.
That's what Erin said, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure you've had like 4 of those hours today. But no. Anyway, send us a message. Reach out to us. Go to the website eatmoverest.com. YouTube is youtube.com/eatmoverest. What else am I missing? Come to our Costa Rica retreat.
Yeah. And I think ultimately, just to round it out, like, Eat, Move, Rest is about, like, whole life wellness. It's about keeping the balance in your own specific way. But we didn't really touch on rest. And a lot of people are like, well, that's great. But, like, Eat, Move, Rest, what about love? What about family? What about connection? And we kind of really lump all of that into rest.
Yeah.
Where do you find that space, that heart space, with time for your loved ones, disconnecting from devices, just finding that me time, family time, what else?
Yeah.
All of that. It's really the most neglected of the 3, which is probably why we didn't even talk about it.
Right.
But
we live in this like Gary V. Yeah, we live in this like Gary V. like hustle hard, like sleep when you're dead. And it's so cool. And I'm like, I'm so sick of Gary V. Like, he's super inspiring, but I'm like, that's not real life. Like, that's not real life. You can't just hustle hard until you die, because I was in that space this summer and I wasn't sleeping. I was stressed out. I was just in a hurt of just a mess. I was eating the best diet and exercising, but I simply wasn't resting. I wasn't sleeping. And it's so important. In fact, I think it's the most important. You know what I mean? We're called to take one day a week to slow down and rest, and
faith, spirituality, whatever it is that kind of like refuels you. And you can't really, we've learned this, you can't really like pour out of your cup if it's empty.
Right.
Like, preaching all this stuff, we got to a point where we were running ourselves ragged. Okay, I'm not eating as healthy and clean as I was, and I'm not working out because I'm devoting all this time to like putting this stuff out. So to reel back and find that time to refill your own cup, I think a lot of that comes in the form of different ways of resting.
Right.
What are like 2 things that you could tell somebody to like change the way they either view rest or like they actually rest? Like, what do you like what do you kind of have like as a routine to do that besides sleeping? But.
I mean, for me, stretching is a big thing. Always been active since I was a kid. I was actually born with cerebral palsy, so my left leg is a little bit shorter. Most people would never know, but like stretching has been a thing since I was a kid. Like, I have to do it. And so if I do that every night for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, let Max crawl all over me and pull my hair and do that thing, and I can just put my legs up the wall for 5 minutes, stretch, close my eyes, listen to a meditation or like a prayer app. And that really gets me in the sleep zone. If I lay down without having taken the time to slow down, I don't sleep. I'm like just still firing and thinking. So it's like a process for me. Definitely take 5 or 10 or 20 minutes to lay down and slow down and close your eyes. Erin can be doing her thing, getting ready for bed, and we kind of switch. She watches Max, and then we each have this like quiet time before bed that allows us to slow down. So when you get in bed, you're actually tired. That has helped me for sure.
Yeah. I think also a book that we both recently listened to on Audible called The 5 Love Languages. I think is it by Gary Chapman?
Yeah, I think so.
He talks about...
It's an oldie.
Yeah, it's like so timeless. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
I think checking that book out can help a lot, because then you figure out like what fills your cup, and you can have your partner read it too, and you can help know how to fill each other's cups that way. So for me, a big one was quality time. And some of the best memories I've had over the past few years have been the times where we have done absolutely nothing. I like spend a day not in checklist mode, which is my typical tendency, is to just task, check. And it's never really that fulfilling at the end of the day. But those days where I have a clean slate, no agenda, no plan, and the simplest activities, were done throughout the day. It was just that time spent together that I'm like, man, I really wish we could have more days like that.
For sure. Yeah.
So.
The 5 love languages actually works because you find out what you need or what you want from other people, and it's such a cheesy book. It's like hard to listen to because it's so old-fashioned, but it really works. And on top of that, I'll say that another thing, I actually went on a men's retreat recently, and these guys were like, dude, you just had a kid, marriage, all these things are like piling on. And there's this thing called the marriage journal. And like, that's the name of it. If you guys Google it, the marriage journal, it's just a website. I think it started by a couple. And it's like every Sunday, Erin and I sit down and we talk about our week, what's coming up. Like, hey, I've got this on this day. It's like non-negotiable. Erin's like, hey, I need like an hour to go get my nails done and like be away from Max if I can. And so like we schedule these things in, what we talk about, what we liked, something we didn't like, what brings you joy. And it's super awkward. Like we don't have conversations like that. But this journal allows like the awkward talk to happen. It's been super helpful. We've only been doing it for a couple of weeks, but it's so far so good. And that's all, like I said, that's all rest and like recharging, refilling.
And then in a very concrete, simple way, like a quick fire way to recharge, I would say is box breathing. So you just breathe, inhale for 5 seconds, hold it for 5 seconds, exhale for 5 seconds, hold it for again. 5, and you do that. Think of a box in your head. And you can do that at your desk at work. Do it for 30 seconds, a minute, whatever, just to kind of reset.
And what's that like do? Does it like physically change?
Like, your brain? It takes, so when I can't sleep at night, it's usually because I'm thinking about something or I'm worried about the fact that I'm not sleeping. It's like this vicious cycle. But when you have to like think and count, or even like imagine
to focus on,
right?
Even like trying to imagine.
How does this work?
So you're like thinking about a box and the line's moving and you're counting to 5. So all of a sudden it becomes like this equation in your mind.
It just hones in.
It hones in. Before you know it, it's like 8 a.m. and you're up and you're like, thank the Lord, I fell asleep. Again.
And like physically, you're slowing your heart rate just by pausing and breathing so slowly. And just simple things like that. It doesn't take a lot. A lot of people are like, but I don't know how to meditate. And I'm like, I don't know how to meditate. Let alone find the time to meditate anymore.
Right.
You don't have to do it for 10, 20, 30 minutes. You can do it for a minute here and there when you really need it during the day. Because sometimes I think waking up at the butt crack of dawn and sitting down in your perfectly serene and quiet room and meditating for 10 minutes, it's like, you're not doing it when you need it.
Right. Yeah. That's natural. It's like when the house is a mess and we're on our way to the podcast and like it's snowing outside and Max won't sleep, and those are the times when you need to learn to like take 5 minutes or a minute.
Take a breath.
Yeah. And so I don't know. But what do we really know? We're just trying to figure it out.
Well, it sounds like tons.
Yeah. we could probably talk and talk and talk. which is why we started a YouTube channel, so we could just. We are like the total egotistical people that now we just turn on a camera and we'll watch and listen to ourselves talk all day. But I don't know, somebody's listening now, so appreciate you guys for having us.
Absolutely. What's we're gonna start asking this question of all the guests. Like, what's one time in your life where you laughed the hardest?
Yeah.
Like, what was something? What was like something you can point back to and be like, I could not stop laughing at this point.
That's a really, really good one because
okay. So I've got one.
I'm a comedy movie. Like if we're gonna watch a movie, it has to be comedy.
Right.
But I can't.
So okay, I'll say mine. So my buddy Nick Muley, shout out to Nick if he's listening. Also fellow Lincolnite. We were the craziest kids, serious troublemakers, like bad kids. And we would drink as much Mountain Dew and whatever we could in the afternoon.
Drive Ford Mustangs everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. This was before the Mustang day. This was like BMX bike days still. But we would just get as juiced as we could on like Surge or Mountain Dew. If you guys remember Surge,
Surge is still lingering somewhere.
I know. I think I saw it pop up. Yeah. But we got Squirt one day. It was called Squirt, and I don't even think it was that good. But for some reason, hilarious name, and we were dying laughing for hours. We just kept riding around, and one of us would say "squirt," and it was crazy. And again, it was all in good fun. We were like 13 or 14, and I'll never forget that day though. And to this day, it's always something funny. Like in high school, my other buddy John. Shout out to John Schroeder if he's listening. We always had some kind of funny word and we even made t-shirts one time with this word. We had a friend that would say "all right, sweet," but he would say it so fast it became like "art sweet." ARTSWT. We had everybody saying it in high school. We made t-shirts, and again, it was one of those things that we just, once somebody said it, we couldn't stop laughing. So some funny word that makes us laugh. We need
Squirt's
to start
like my favorite go-to drink because I don't drink.
Really?
I don't drink any caffeine.
Yeah.
So if I like want pop, it's like root beer or Squirt. Like that's.
I haven't had a Squirt in 20 some years. I'm gonna have to go back and try.
Yes.
What about you, babe?
Oh man, I still can't think of one, but it's probably just a compilation of every funny movie I've ever seen.
Yeah. What's your favorite comedy? What could you quote the entire movie of?
I can
Dumb and Dumber, Billy Madison.
I would say anything Adam Sandler.
But I will say, like, he's a sellout now, but I still really want to see every movie he puts out on Netflix. Like, I still have to watch it. Like they're start to finish.
Terrible.
Okay, the most recent one. What was the one where he put
on
out
Netflix?
Like his daughter is getting married and he was that one was definitely funny.
Yeah, it was, and there was the Mirowitz stories on Netflix.
And he just did really good one. The murder mystery one that one was pretty
good.
Jennifer Aniston.
That one was pretty good. So he still is.
Yeah.
He has
so anything with Adam Sandler and anything with Jennifer Aniston. I mean, not anything, just Friends. Yeah. Reruns of Friends. We watch reruns of Friends like to this day, almost every single day.
That probably is what gets us
We just
laughing.
Like put it on the TV while we're cooking dinner and can quote anything from it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So Max cracks us up lately.
Yeah, he does like full grown.
He's making the noise right now. Full grown, like he and I will play like fart tennis sometimes. So he'll like cut one, and I'll just like have to be like, "Hey, I'm still the boss, like king of the castle," and I'll have to like.
The first time you said that, just showing him who's king of the castle.
Yeah. So
I died during that one.
Those are our funny times now. Is laughing with our little guy.
And Saturday Night Live has been really funny lately too.
Yes, it has.
If you want some good coffee, Andy makes great coffee.
Do you?
Come to the Bay sometime.
Nice.
Have I seen you today before?
Like once or twice. We don't make it over there often, but
just come down. We got oat milk, so plant-based milk.
Nice.
That would be ideal.
We need to for sure.
Both of us are like on caffeine is like.
Yeah.
I'm not sleeping for at least 48 hours.
We're actually not caffeine drinkers, but I love coffee. Like I'll drink decaf coffee because I love the smell. Yeah. I love the taste. I just if I have too much caffeine. Last time I had a cup of either coffee or green tea, I can't remember what, was in New York City, and I had like legit had a panic attack. I was like, I need to like sit down.
So much caffeine.
So many people. Caffeine. So much traffic. So much caffeine. I have to sit. And I was like in the corner of like the what's it called? Not Starbucks. I can't remember. One of these coffee shops having a panic attack. But we'll come in for decaf.
You can bask in the around this.
There you go. There you go.
And I think Max is fine.
Max is on cue. He's awake. He slept the whole time. So glad.
Amazing.
Sweet.
Yeah.